Have you ever wondered what it's like to live in Georgetown, Texas? Well, today we're going to think about it a little bit. I'm here at Crescent Bluff. This is a brand new home community in Georgetown, Texas, right outside of Austin. And there's a few new home builders in here, and we're going to check out some of their houses. We're going to see what it looks on the outside. We're going to see what it looks like in the inside. And by the way, if you see anything that you like, or you're thinking about moving here to the greater Austin area, whether it's downtown Austin or any of the surrounding cities, give me a call, shoot me a text, schedule a Zoom meeting, whatever works for you. Look forward to making contact with you. Always like to hear from my audience, and just get in touch. I'm a friendly guy, I promise. I'll be very friendly. I won't bite. It'll be very great. And if you're thinking about moving out here, we can come up with a strategy, see what works for you, and we'll go from there. Let's go look at these houses. Let's go check it out. So I'm walking to the first model home that we're going to look at. This is from Pulte. And Pulte they have several lots in here that are really cool. We're going to look at some of those lots after we look at the model home. The model home is obviously really, really nice, but I think that there are some real opportunities in here. If you want a nice house that has a little bit of scenic view, this community has a few options for you. Well, I'm wearing my sunglasses out here because obviously we're in Texas, and here in Texas, man, the sun comes down very hard. You got to wear your sunglasses. So you'll get to see my eyes here a little bit later. Okay, we're walking up to the model. Got some good old American flags and the Pulte flag here, flying our colors. And here we are. Look at that. Very nice masonry front facing here. Looks like it's a combination of masonry and siding here on the side. Let's go in and check it out. Okay, we're in the model home now. Let's go ahead and take a tour of the entire house. I'm going to take you all the way through kitchen, living room, bedrooms, bathrooms. Let's go. Let's take a look. Okay, I'm right here in front of the front door. I'm gonna go inside. I'm gonna be really quiet. I think I'm gonna put on some nice music for you. And I'm just gonna go around the house, just enjoy the view. And ask yourself, could you live here? Do you like the house? Let's go take a look.
right, well that's Pulte. Let's now go take a look at GFO here in Crescent Bluff. Let's see what they've got.
Okay, now we're gonna check out GFO. They're another builder here in Crescent Bluff. We're gonna go into their model, and then after their model, we're gonna go check out one of their spec homes. Let's go take a look. Okay, so we're now in front of a spec home by GFO. We're going to go in. It's not going to be as amazing as the model home, but this is still a really nice home. Let's go in and take a look. So I'm just walking here in Crescent Bluff, and I thought I'd just take a walk down the street, just get a feel of the neighborhood. I really like the feel of this neighborhood. It's very quiet, it's very peaceful. There's still a lot of construction going on in this neighborhood. One of the things I've noticed as I've been touring homes here is that it's a little bit slow. It's a little bit slow out here, but that means that if you're a buyer, I think there's good opportunity here. These builders, they have a lot of lots and they're not getting a lot of traffic. So if you're looking to buy a house, this might be a good time to negotiate. One of the things you should really think about when you're moving out to a place like Crescent Bluff in Georgetown is a little bit farther out. So if you're commuting into Austin, more central Austin, you do got to think about that commute. That is a trade-off with living out here. It's not all, roses and sunshine. You have to think of the pros and cons when you're buying a house. You got to keep it real. But overall, I really like Crescent Bluff. I think it's a great little neighborhood. I like it. I'd live here. So these GFO homes go for all the way from like low 600s all the way up. It can go all the way up to about 800,000 if you got one of these houses that were a little bit larger and had all the bells and whistles. So there's a lot of range here, and the size of home goes from about 2,300 square feet all the way just shy of 4,000 square feet. So there's a lot of range. There's a lot of different kinds of floor plans and sizes. I really like this community. So we've looked at Pulte, we've looked at GFO. Let's look at some lots in this area. I think one of the cool things about this community is it really has topography, and it's got some lots that really have some potential. So let's go around and take a look. So I'm here in Crescent Bluff, and we're walking down the street here, and I want to show you some lots that are kind of cool here in this community. Now, some of these lots are kind of facing to the interior of the subdivision, but there are some lots here that have some cool views of hill country. And so I'm just going to flip this around. And here's an example. So here we have one house. This house is completed or almost completed. And then there's a lot right here. You can see this lot has been sold. You can see right here. And then look here, look here, look at this, look at this. This lot is very deep, but look how it looks out into the hill country. We're gonna walk the depth of this lot here. This is a very nice lot. This probably carries a very high lot premium because it doesn't look like they're going to build stuff back there, but even if they did, we're so high up that you're always going to be able to see this hill country up here. Very, very nice. Possible water that would be flowing through here if it would rain. We're quite high up here, so I wouldn't worry about it. These builders are not going to build in the floodplain, so I know that we don't have an issue with that here. But yeah, you can see here that one of the disadvantages of a lot like this, and this is something that you should always keep in mind, is if you notice this really is very steep. It slopes back, and you can see to get to your backyard you have to go down these stairs. So you got to think about it. But the benefit is you've got that view, right? But look at those stairs. Look how steep that is. So if you've got really young little kids, you got to be very careful with those stairs. It's just, you got a huge back face here on this house, but it looks out. It looks out. I mean, it has clearance over the trees. So yeah, this would be definitely one to think about. If you were looking for a view of hill country, some wooded area, this would be it. But you're definitely going to pay for it. We're hiking back up. This is steep. It doesn't look that steep on the video, but trust me, it's steep. Now, I'm looking at something really interesting, and I want to turn this back around. And I keep mentioning this. I'm kind of a lover of nature, but I'm gonna flip this around. And I want you to look at that. Look at that tree. Look at that tree. That is a native tree to this area. And I've mentioned this before. And actually, you can see many of them. Here's one. All these trees here, these are all native trees. These are very old trees. And the city here, they're gonna have, according to their code, a certain number of trees within a certain area that need to remain there. And the builder has to build around these trees. And, in a community like this, besides nature, besides preserving some of the natural habitat that has existed here for hundreds of years, it gives the neighborhood some character, because in a brand new community like this, it can feel very austere. It's a lot of cement. It's just, you almost hear an echo when you're speaking, because it's just cement, asphalt, brick. And so when you see these trees, you're just like, okay, yeah, this is nice. You start feeling some nature. Eventually, over time, you know, the trees in these yards, they will grow and it will look more mature. But until then, I think these trees really add character to a new community like this. Okay, so why do they call it Crescent Bluff? Well, we're at the Crescent on the bluff. This is it. These lots carry a huge lot premium. I'm talking like, well, I'm not sure what they're going for now, but I believe the last time I checked, I think it was like $60,000, $70,000, $80,000, something like that. It was something crazy. I need to go check with the sales rep here again. But really, these are premium lots, and you're going to see why. Let me flip this around. Okay, so basically, there's this road here, and it comes into this cul-de-sac, and this cul-de-sac probably has what looks like 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 lots. Okay, and I'm just gonna walk it. And we're gonna walk the depth of the lot. And these are really amazing lots. I had one client that was actually considering building a house here, but he didn't quite want to shell out the cash for this lot premium, and I don't blame him. But you know, the premium I think here is justified. Sometimes these lot premiums, I don't want to say they're a money grab, but there isn't a lot of value that you're getting, in my opinion, for some of these lot premiums. But for a lot premium on something like this, it is totally justified. So I'm walking the depth of the lot. Hopefully we don't have any snakes in here. Probably not during winter time. And I'm walking, and I don't know if you can see it on video, but we're walking to the edge. And this goes down very, very steep. Very steep. And it's just literally hill country. So if you put your house here, I mean, just look how far back we are. Look at the car over there. Look how far back we are. This has tremendous depth, and it's going to be a pie-shaped lot, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 pie-shaped lots. So these are going to be huge lots, and then these lots are going to look out into this hill country. Now, I don't know what they're going to build behind here, but I can't imagine that they're going to tear down, demolish, bulldoze all these trees. And this is very steep here. This is very steep. So definitely that's a ravine right there. So they're not building anything there. So you probably are going to have, as long as this house is here, you're going to have a really nice view out into the hill over yonder. And we were talking about trees. And here's a very good example of what I'm talking about. I think I'm a little bit obsessed with the trees in this video, but okay, if you're a tree lover, you're my people. Look at this tree here. Look at this tree here. Notice they have a fence around this tree. They're protecting the tree. Isn't that nice? This tree, who knows how long this tree has been here? 100 years? Maybe not that long, but a very long time. And this tree is here. So this tree has to remain here. So that means that, this could be a lot. I mean, if you look here, this could be a house sitting on a lot with a huge premium, but the builder cannot build here. So this will not be anything. So if your house is here, you're going to be next to this tree. There's going to be this open space here. You're not going to have a neighbor right next to you. That might be nice. This lot here, right next to this tree, might be a little bit more expensive for that reason. And actually here, from this vantage point, and we'll walk the depth again, here you can really get a sense of the view. So let's walk right up. Yeah, I can definitely, there's no doubt, the lot premiums here are definitely justified. Definitely, there's huge value on this lot. How much would you pay to have your house here? And it looks out into this hill country with all these trees. And it's hard to maybe get a sense of it right now because we're in a period of time where a lot of the leaves and the nature here is it's dormant. It's dormant. So, you know, there's a lot of gray, there's a lot, it looks like things are dead, but this will be different. You know, when we get into spring and things start going into full bloom, this will look very, very different. It'll be very green. And so I can just imagine, like, you have a little patio here, or maybe this is where your dining room window is, and you're looking out into this every single day. Yeah. Someone is going to buy a house here and going to be very, very happy with this location. And so a lot like this cannot even compare to, let's say, these houses, not the ones that have the backyards facing to us, because those do have some view because they're kind of on a hill. But if you're in the interior of that subdivision, you're just seeing another house. Here, you've got a green space. So that's totally different. So this is, I'm going to call this the Crescent at Crescent Bluff. So this is definitely, this is the crown jewel of this subdivision. And it's interesting because there are no houses here yet. Like I said, I did have a client that was strongly considering purchasing one of these lots, but it was just, he just didn't want to do it, and that's fine. We actually went on under contract with a different house in Georgetown, and that house is beautiful, and that house does have a view too, but the lot premium just was not as pricey. I can definitely see why this builder wants such a huge premium, but guys, this is important. You get what you pay for, right? You get what you pay for. So, you know, you want the nice view, there's a price to that. So I hope you've enjoyed our time here at Crescent Bluff. I've actually enjoyed it. I always like going out to these new developments. I always learn something new, learn kind of what the inventory situation is like out here in these new communities. Again, you know, if you're ever thinking about moving to Austin or surrounding areas, give me a call. Send me a text message, write me an email, carrier pigeon, whatever. Get in touch. I'd be happy to speak with you. You know, if you vibe with my spirit, give me a call, and would love to talk with you. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed it, and keep watching my channel. You know, I'm going to be doing a lot of these videos. I'm going to be touring a lot of new construction communities, as well as more developed communities that have been around for a while. So hope you've enjoyed it, and we'll see you on the next one.